something just came to me which I must share now before I have my lunch, because I'm getting really, really hungry, and when I don't eat, I got impatient, so I just want to get this out. Before I move on with this video, I want to take a moment and let you to be in this space, to experience the beingness of this space, of this beauty, of the sunset, to feel what beingness is really feel like, smells like. I want to witness this with you together. I want to work with you to co-create this space, to experience the energy. I will put the form down below this video. Just simply click the link below the description and you will find the guide, the questions, and let your body guide you when you're answering those. Don't think too much, because you already know what's in the space, the essence of your own beingness that wants to emerge. I really want to remember, and I want to witness this with you together. Excited to work with you. But it's an important message for anyone who is hiding, speaking surface level, trying to fit in the online world, and waiting for that perfect moment that everything aligns, and then they come out. And maybe it's you. So let me just have a seat. If you watched any of my videos, I've spoke about stuttering and how I stuttered, and how stuttering has a way deeper level. It's going way beyond than stuttering, and it's not just because I have any speech difficulty or I cannot express myself in a way, because I can, and let me get back to that, or I cannot read, or any of those. I don't have any of these issues. However, what I realize now as a 36 years old, stuttering and all my speech challenges, and that's why I do this work. I don't call this work, it's an expression. It's because of all of these decades and years, I learned to fit in, to people please, to show a perfect self. And it all ties back to stuttering, because stuttering is like a compass. When I'm not aligned with my truth of what I want to say from my heart, I stutter. When I try to fit in into environments where I don't belong, I stutter. When I meet people who are out of my frequency, I'm not saying I'm above or below anyone, no. They are just different energy. They are just not my vibe, and you know what I'm talking about. I stutter because the self of mine is start to kick in, and I want to start a conversation, to belong and show my perfect self. So I start to speak fast. I start to grasp for air, right? And it all ties back to this. And when I was in primary school, I never forget that moment. It was a literature lesson, and the teacher asked me to, she was pointing out randomly on people to read from our workbook. And she told me, okay, now Norbert. And I never forget that moment when she said, okay, read that paragraph. And I was stuttering and I could not speak a word. I started to, my stomach got so tight. I was grasping for air, my whole body tied up like a brick, and I could not read. Or I was reading, but I was very nervous, and all I felt is just all the attention is at me. And of course, some classmates were laughing, some didn't, some had some compassion at that time. But it left me with, oh, so I need to have a certain face, I need to present myself in a certain way so I can be accepted. And that's where stuttering ties back, to be accepted, to belong, to people please. But now, as you can see from my videos, that it's breaking down. I'm not that self anymore. Although it's still part of me, because of course it's still me, but I chose a different path. I chose depth over surface level because I want to speak my truth. And my truth is, it's exactly this, that how stuttering and the expression of my own self, my own voice, my own thoughts was suppressed by the school system, by parents, growing up in Soviet Union. Growing up in Soviet Union, it felt like you are in a box. Although I was born in Ukraine officially, but at that time it was still Soviet Union. But all the beliefs, the patterns, they still lived on within my own family. And you need to do things in a certain way, you need to behave in a certain way. You cannot say this because it's not nice. You can hurt people. You cannot play in the neighbor's garden because it's a no. Why it's a no? I don't know, but it's a no. It's all limiting patterns